Have you ever felt like you're trying to drive a high-performance car, pushing the accelerator to the floor, but the vehicle just drags? You can smell the friction, you feel the resistance, and you know you're burning fuel, but you aren't moving anywhere near the speed you should be.
That is the perfect analogy for how most people live their lives. It's not that the engine is broken, meaning they don't lack intelligence or talent. It's that they are driving with the handbrake pulled up tight.
Exactly. And that handbrake is mental. It's fascinating because we usually assume failure comes from a lack of resources or opportunity. But today, we're diving into the idea that the real culprit is a lack of trained confidence. And I say trained deliberately, right? Because we often think confidence is just something you're born with, like blue eyes or being tall.
Precisely. That's the first myth we have to shatter. Confidence isn't a genetic lottery win, it's a strategy. It's a habit, just like brushing your teeth. If you don't brush your teeth, they decay. If you don't practice confidence, your self-belief decays. The material we're discussing today frames the mind as a fertile garden. Every single thought is a seed.
I love that metaphor, but let's push on it a bit. It sounds almost too simple. Just think happy thoughts. But the reality is messier, isn't it? If I've spent 20 years planting seeds of doubt, my garden is probably a jungle of weeds by now.
It is, and that's where the work begins. You can't just plant a rose bush in a thicket of thorns and expect it to survive. You have to actively rip out the weeds. This is what we call auto-sabotage or self-sabotage. It's the narrative of doubt, fear, and self-criticism that plays on a loop. The good news? Your past harvests don't dictate what you can plant today. You don't need permission to start weeding.
So let's talk about the weeding process. We often hear that voice in our heads, the one that says, "You're not good enough," or "You're going to mess this up." Where does that actually come from? Is that really us talking?
That is a profound question. Often, no, it isn't you. Think of your mind as a computer operating system. Over the years, you've had software installed by others, parents, teachers, bosses, society at large. Some of those programs are great, but many are obsolete or full of bugs. When you hear, "I can't do this," you might actually be hearing an echo of a teacher from third grade or a critical parent.
That's a liberating distinction. If it's just a recording or an old file, I don't have to treat it as absolute truth. I can just hit delete.
You can, but you have to identify it first. You have to become the programmer rather than the passive user. When a thought pops up like, "I have bad luck," you need to pause and ask, is this a command or is this just a suggestion? Because thoughts are just options. You have the executive power to reject the suggestion.
I like that. Thoughts are not orders. But let's get physical for a second. The discussion touches on something very tangible: the mirror. Now, standing in front of a mirror and talking to yourself can feel, well, a little ridiculous at first. A little narcissistic, maybe.
It feels incredibly awkward, I agree. But that discomfort is the sound of rewiring your brain. The mirror is a feedback loop. When you look at yourself with criticism, your shoulders slump, your face tightens, and your biology shifts towards stress. But if you stand there, look yourself in the eye, and state an affirmation of capability, you aren't just being vain. You are giving your nervous system a new instruction.
So it's biological, not just psychological.
It's absolutely biological. Your body follows the mind's instructions. If you tell yourself, "I am ready," your posture opens up. And here's the kicker. When your posture opens up, the world treats you differently. You stop transmitting static and start transmitting a clear signal. People trust people who look like they trust themselves.
That makes sense. It's about congruency. If I'm saying, "I'm a leader," but my body is saying, "Please don't look at me," nobody buys it. But let's move to the biggest trap I see people fall into: the waiting game. I'll launch the business when I feel confident. I'll ask for the raise when I feel ready.
That is the ultimate trap. It's the paralysis by analysis. We have the equation backward. We think feeling first, then action. But the reality is action first, then feeling. Confidence is the result of moving, not the prerequisite for it.
It's like trying to warm up a car engine without turning it on.
Exactly. It's a cold start. You have to turn the key and move the pistons to generate the heat. If you wait for the heat to appear by magic, you'll freeze in the driveway. Every time you procrastinate because of fear, you are feeding the fear. You're giving it lunch. But every time you take a tiny step, even a microscopic one, you feed your confidence.
So we build this brick by brick. It doesn't have to be a massive leap.
No. In fact, massive leaps are often discouraging. Just lay one brick. Make the phone call. Write the first paragraph. Send the email. Action is the antidote to fear. It shifts you from victim mode, where things happen to you, to creator mode, where you make things happen.
Speaking of creating, I want to touch on visualization. I think this gets a bad rap sometimes as just daydreaming. But high-level athletes do this religiously. Why is it so effective for the rest of us?
Because the brain is easily tricked in the best possible way. It struggles to distinguish between a vivid, high-definition memory and a vivid, high-definition visualization. When you close your eyes and not just see yourself succeeding, but feel the texture of the chair, smell the room, hear the applause or the silence of focus, you are laying down neural tracks.
You're building a map for a place you haven't been to yet.
Beautifully put. You're programming the GPS. So when you actually get into the stressful situation, your brain goes, "Oh, relax. We've been here before. We know the route." It lowers the panic response. 5 minutes a day of this mental rehearsal can do more than hours of anxious overthinking.
But there's a caveat here, right? We have to be visualizing our success, not someone else's version of it. This brings us to the issue of masks. We spend so much energy trying to fit in, trying to be what we think people want.
The mask is the heavy burden. Wearing a mask requires constant energy. You have to hold it up, adjust it, worry if it's slipping. That drains the energy you need to actually succeed. Authenticity is efficient. When you stop pretending, you free up massive amounts of cognitive resources. Plus, deep down, sticking to a false self sends a message to your subconscious that says, "Who I really am isn't good enough." That destroys confidence at the root.
It's a betrayal of the self. And I suppose that leads into how we protect this new mindset. We can do the mirror work. We can take action. But if we walk out the door and surround ourselves with toxicity, it's going to be a hard fight.
That's why we need a mental diet.
A mental diet. I love that term.
Think about it. You wouldn't eat rotten food from a dumpster and expect to run a marathon. Yet we scroll through doom and gloom news for an hour, listen to a friend complain for another hour, and then wonder why we feel drained and incapable. For 30 days, try filtering everything that enters your mind. If it's toxic, cut it off.
That sounds incredibly difficult in the modern world. We are bombarded.
It is difficult. It requires discipline. But you have to become the guardian of your own mind. You have to treat your attention like a VIP club. Not everyone and not everything gets on the guest list. If you do this for a month, the clarity you gain is startling. You realize how much of your anxiety was actually imported from the outside.
So it comes down to taking responsibility. We can't control the economy, we can't control the politicians, and we can't control what our parents said to us 20 years ago. But we can control the software we run today.
That is the core message. You are the editor of your story. You can keep rereading the sad chapters, or you can start writing a new one. The most powerful thing you can do is make a public commitment. Even if it's just writing, "I believe in myself," in a journal or a comment section. It sounds trivial, but it's a contract.
It anchors the intention.
It does. And remember, believing in yourself isn't arrogance. It's honesty. It's honestly looking at your potential and refusing to waste it.
As we wrap up, I'm thinking about the person listening right now. Maybe they're in the car, maybe they're at the gym, and they've been nodding along. But tomorrow morning, the old alarm goes off, and the old doubts will be waiting by the bed. What is the one thought they should hold on to?
They should remember the mirror. Tomorrow morning, when you look at yourself, realize you are looking at a project in strictly real-time construction. You are not a finished statue, you are clay. The way you talk to yourself in that moment determines the shape of the day. Ask yourself, am I going to be my own critic today or my own coach? Because you cannot be both.
You cannot be both. That's a powerful place to leave it. It's a daily choice, sometimes an hourly one. We hope this conversation has given you the tools to release that handbrake.
Drive the car. The friction isn't necessary. You were built to move.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the road.